back to Embrace Your Value. I'm Kristen Burris, your trauma therapist.
And I'm Jen Anderson, your beliefs and boundaries specialist.
We are so glad you're here. Today's topic is one I think almost everyone can relate to. Have you ever replayed a conversation over and over, made multiple pro and con lists, asked 5 different people for advice and still felt stuck? We call that overthinking. But what if what's really happening is that you're avoiding a decision because your brain is trying to protect you? As a trauma therapist, I see this all the time. Our brains are wired to keep us safe. If we've been hurt, criticized, rejected, or shamed in the past, making a decision can feel risky. So instead of deciding, we think and think and think. And it isn't because we're weak. It's because our nervous system believes certainty equals safety.
Yeah. And I see the same thing from the coaching side. People tell me they need more information, another book, another class, another opinion. And then I ask, well, what do you already know? And most of the time they answer immediately. Deep down, they already know what they want to do. The struggle usually isn't clarity. It's trusting themselves enough to move forward.
So, what does overthinking really look like? It doesn't always look like sitting quietly worrying. Sometimes it looks productive, being a busy bee, researching, planning, organizing, making less, as you mentioned, listening to podcasts. Those things aren't bad. The question is, are they helping you make a decision or are they helping you avoid one?
Exactly. And I can tell you from personal experience, I have done this and still occasionally find myself doing this. Not because I like to be in this mode, but just because it's actually familiar to me. I've done it for my whole life. But there's a difference between preparing and postponing. Preparing moves you closer to action. Postponing keeps moving the finish line. I'll decide after one more conversation. I'll wait until next month. I'll apply after I update my resume. I have to answer this last email or do this last thing, and then I'll be done for the night. That's the same thing because we're still putting off what could wait till tomorrow. And before you know it, months have gone by and you're in that same cycle.
Right. It's so true, Jen. And let's talk about what's underneath all of this. The real question usually isn't what's the right decision, because as you said, people most of the time know what they want to do. It's what happens if I make the wrong one? That fear often comes from experiences where mistakes didn't feel safe. Maybe you were criticized. Maybe you were expected to be perfect. Maybe you learned that your worth depended on getting things right. If that's true, your brain naturally wants guarantees before moving forward. The problem is, life doesn't offer guarantees.
Boy, isn't that the truth? Yeah. When I decided to leave my job and start my own business, I wanted every answer before I made a move. How would I fund my business? Like, how would I continue to fund it? Would I succeed? What if I failed? And eventually I realized I wasn't looking for information anymore. I was just looking for certainty. And that certainty, it only comes from being in action and doing the thing. At some point, you do have to choose growth over guarantees.
Right. One thing I remind clients is that our brains remember pain, but our brains often forget resilience. think about the things you've already survived. You've made hard decisions before. You've gotten through difficult seasons. You're stronger than your fear wants you to believe.
Oh, I love that, Kristen. I always tell clients that self trust isn't something you find, it's something you build. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you set and uphold a boundary, every time you make a decision that aligns with your values, you're building trust. Confidence doesn't come before action. Confidence comes because of action.
So here's a question we would love for you to think about this week. What decision or decisions have you been avoiding? Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. What are the things that have been sitting in the back of your mind? What is going on? It could be a problem that you're trying to solve. It could be a decision that you're trying to make, but something's sitting back there. What is it?
And then ask yourself one more question. What am I really afraid of? What is the underlying fear that keeps coming up for you? Maybe that story that pops up when you think about doing the thing you want to do. What is that fear? What is that? Because once you name the fear, it usually becomes much easier to face. And then you take one small step. You don't take this giant step. You don't do 15 things at once. You literally pick the smallest step that you can take and you make that step happen. And then you build on that. That's how you get momentum. You don't do the whole journey at once. You just take the next step. You be proud of yourself and you move on to the next one and the next one. And then eventually you're there and you didn't even know that was happening.
Gosh, that's true, right? You just need to get the ball rolling. And sometimes we can't wait for the perfect situation. We can't wait for the perfect answer or the thought. We just have to do the thing. And if something goes wrong, we figure it out, right? It's all just about how can we be okay? Like we said at the very beginning, it's that you think you're going to make the wrong decision, not that you're going to make a decision. So we have to just start somewhere. So if there's one thing that Jen and I hope that you remember, it's this: you're not broken because you overthink. Your brain has been trying to protect you.
The opposite of overthinking isn't certainty, it's self trust. One decision at a time. Like Kristen said, you try it, you evaluate. Did it work? Did it not work? If it didn't work, you pivot, you figure it out. But it's always that take a step, evaluate what worked, what didn't work, how do we make changes, try it again, evaluate. That's the process. It's not about being perfect from the very beginning because that's not attainable. So we just want to thank you for spending part of your day with us. And if this episode encouraged you, we would love for you to subscribe, leave a review or 5 stars, and even share it with someone who really also needs to hear this.
And if it sparks something in you that you want to talk more about, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out through the links in our show notes, send us an email. Just let us know what's on your mind.
And until next time,
Keep embracing your value.